Latvia is a country in Northern Europe populated by strong people. Only 1.9 million people live here. Even though Latvia is a small country, it has made considerable strides in culture, sports, and science. Historically, it has attracted the interest of many foreign powers and people. Now that Latvia is a free and democratic country, it has much to learn about democracy, state management, and also hospitality. It seems that it has been doing well so far. Latvia is a member of NATO and the European Union. It has replaced its previous currency, the lat, with the euro in 2014. Latvia is an open, dynamic, and magnificent country, where even the most audacious dreams in business, culture, and education can be achieved. Some consider it to be amongst the most interesting tourist destinations in Europe. However, the real value of Latvia lies in its people. Therefore, the story of this film revolves around the open and friendly people of Liepaja, who have spent a considerable amount of time living in Latvia's third largest city with its peaceful and harmonious streets, yet highly active and ambitious business life. This is a story about charming Liepaja, which, historically, has been a crowded port city with a strong vibe for international culture. Liepaja is a cosmopolitan city. Its fate has been shaped by people of various nations. Foreign investment plays a major role in the current development of Liepaja. This is a story about an open city, its culture, history, fate, challenges and dreams. This is a story about the relationship that the solitary citizens of Liepaja share with those who have come from abroad to enjoy life in this vibrant city.
I'm from India and my name is Raj. I was working as a software engineer in India. I thought to do my masters abroad, and if I study here, I'm in EU, and also the cost of living is not very high, so I can manage with my expenses, and that's how I decided to study in Latvia.
I'm Laura and I'm from Austria. What I did before I came here was basically school. I just graduated high school last year and I've always wanted to do a gap year, and that's how I decided to do the European Voluntary Service, and that's how I got here basically.
I came to Latvia when I was 20. I was a scared girl back then. And they always ask about why I came here, and I tell them it's because of true love. I fell in love with a blonde Latvian boy. Of course, that was against the principles of my family as a Muslim girl. That meant I was completely isolated from the outside world and other people apart from my sister for 20 years. Since day one, I knew I was all on my own, and I had to fight for my place under the sun.
I'm Oksana and I'm from Kiev. It is in Ukraine. It is my native town and I love it very much. That's why I always say that I'm from Kiev, not from Ukraine. I'm doing EVS, it's European Voluntary Service here, and I'm very, very happy to be here in Latvia.
My nationality, I'm from India, north side, is near to Delhi. My city is Karnal and state is Haryana, because India is so big. First time I came in 2007 in Denmark for study. After many years, I just started chatting with now who is my wife, and then I came in Latvia for 1 week. So after 3 or 4 months, I came here permanently. It was before Christmas. Then we celebrate Christmas together. Later I just get married in Latvia and I'm still here.
I come from China. My friend was working at a sushi restaurant here in Liepaja, so I came here with him. I have been here for almost 3 years. I'm from Ukraine, Kiev. I've studied in the Netherlands since 1995. There I met a colleague of mine, a clarinetist, Uldis Lotinieks, who is from Liepaja. He was studying in Utrecht, the same place where I was at the time. I remember him telling me a lot about Liepaja. Later, he got in touch with me telling me there's a free slot in the orchestra and asked whether I want to apply. I was here, and it turned out I was the top choice as a trumpetist. I continued with my master's degree. After 2 years, I looked for job offers, and there was one right there.
Basically, I chose masters in information technology. We have a specialization, like I could either go into software engineering or project management specialization, and at the end of my master degree I also have a research thesis. I am planning to do research in educational technology, how to use technology to deliver education. So that's the basis of my thesis. I will be doing that for the next 6 months, and then that's it. And
the youth house, which is right behind me, is it's basically for after-school activities for the youngsters, so to say, in Liepaja. I'm working here as a volunteer, so I'm helping everywhere I can, and I take, for example, all the pictures for the events and put them on Facebook and on the website. I'm also taking own initiative and starting own small projects. For example, mid of June we are having, I call it a photo rally, because it's about taking specific pictures and making a photo series out of it in 3 days. So yeah, it's gonna be fun and I'm excited.
I lived in the countryside for some time, near Grobinje. My husband had a house and we lived there for 7 years. That was a time when I was still relatively isolated from Liepaja, from the society. Then I realized I have to achieve something in my life. I came here as a blank page. I felt I had to do something. So I started to study Latvian. Later I learned accounting. It was like I was addicted to studying. After graduation, I started working in Liepaja Symphonic Orchestra as the head accountant. After working there for 3 years, I felt like there was still something left to change. I got an offer for a position of head accountant in the Department of Culture in Liepaja. So I worked there for 7 years.
I'm a volunteer at the youth house, and among my responsibilities are having English lessons, and also I have a wide space for my own initiative. For example, I organize my own project on human rights, which are among my professional interests, and I organized a 3-day training for youngsters here in Liepaja, and I'm very glad because I have very good report of the local media, and I'm happy that I could share my experience and my knowledge with the youngsters here in Liepaja, and they also shared their knowledge with me, and that's why I also enriched my knowledge.
I am working here as a second trumpeter. We have a good team here, I think. From what I know about the history of the Liepaja Symphonic Orchestra, initially it was a semi-professional orchestra, but over time it improved. And I think we are a really good team now.
I'm working on Olive. Bata is so posh restaurant in a way. Sometimes I feel stressed when evening start because too much customer, and then you can see, oh, it's too much burden. But sometimes my colleague help me a lot to reduce my burden. When they have free time, But sometimes I am also helping them when I'm free on work. So it's like a teamwork.
Empty? In what way? Well, I came here from the Netherlands, and there are 16 million people living there in an area that's half the size of Latvia. There is not a single place there where you can rest for an hour without seeing anyone. I was in Liepaja and I went to the lighthouse in Bernati. It was then when I realized I want to live here for some time. Fresh air and everything is a lot more peaceful here. No need to rush anywhere. There's a rhythm of its own here, but there is no rush.
For me, the architecture is one of the things I like the most in Liepaja. I've been to different cities in Latvia, but I feel that Liepaja is really special when it comes to that, because close to the beach, around the Liepaja Park, we have a lot of old buildings, old wooden villas that are in a style that I've never seen before. And in Austria, everything is perfectly renovated, and here it's not, but that's so good because you really get the old spirit. Everything seems more original, and you feel a little bit the influence from German architecture. For example, for 40 years there's been Berci as the city architect, so to say, and the brick buildings. Yeah, sometimes I feel like I'm in Germany, and sometimes I feel like I'm in a place that doesn't even exist. There are different styles that come together, and I really like it a lot. It's very diverse. And for example, the Soviet time blocks for me are also, I love them. I mean, it's something that is totally new to me and really interesting.
The most is atmosphere. So small city, but so good and beautiful. And when you go to beach side over there is for walking, pedestrian, cyclists is different way they made it, and it's so good. In many countries you can't get this kind of all facilities all together. Here is an open market that called Peterson Market. You can buy you can buy anything what you want. Fresh milk, potato, and everything is fresh. You can taste it one time and then you will climb for them. And for summer it's so good taste for strawberry. It's really tasty.
It's like a bit of Rome, you know. They say that wherever you go, you come back to the same place, this center of Rome. So it's like wherever you go, we can again come back to the center of the Liepaja. We don't get lost, I think.
The first impression of Liepaja was very, very confusing. It was totally empty, full of rain and dark city. There were no people in the streets, and it seemed like Silent Hill or something like that. But after having spent here 2 months already, I can say that I want to stay here forever. It's full of contrasts. From one side, it's very, very Soviet, sometimes very dark and abandoned. But as soon as you know it better, you understand that this city is unique. I must say that it's a very creative city. It's full of artists, and there is even the sense of creativity somewhere in the air. Maybe it's because of the art school or the university. There are lots of artists, really artists, though they are students, but they're already talented people and they live here.
I love Liepaja very much. I like to say that I have 2 motherlands. Turkmenistan, where I was born and raised, and Latvia, the small city of Liepaja, which took care of me like a good stepmother. I like the people here. They don't rush anywhere. They are free. I go to Riga, and that's a bit too much for me, that frenzy. Here it's all peaceful. I like the park, the seaside. I like it all. I love every corner of this place with my heart and soul.
For me, it's always difficult to talk about how people in different countries are, because you can meet people like this and like that in every country. Still, if I generalize, people seem more distant than in Austria. They don't show their emotions maybe that much. But again, that's nothing to dislike. It takes time to get to know them, and I think that's precious.
The Latvian people are distant and solitary. They don't trust you immediately. It was one of the barriers for me to get to know these people, gain their trust. You have to show that you have no bad intentions.
It is hard to work with Latvians at first, but as soon as they know you, they realize that I am not crazy, I am not mad, it's only the way I talk, I express myself, and they start to melt a little bit, they start to smile, and at that point you understand, okay, we've got the connection, and we will keep on cooperating.
There's a two-step reaction you get from Latvians. First of all, it's this no, wait. But when you get to know them better, you're their friend. And when you're friends with a Latvian, then that's forever. That's what I learned through my friendships here. The Dutch, they have a three-step reaction. First, they're all like, oh, hello, friend. And when you approach them, they suddenly get all reserved and don't let anyone on their private space. Only after some time spent with that person, you can become their friend. Only then. Latvians are closer to me than anyone else I know.
The main difference was like after coming here, I only saw more female than male. So it is just opposite in my country. Like we see more males in my country rather than females. In India, they are more used to having the family culture. So here it's not like that. It's more about individualistic culture. So everything is based on I rather than more than family values. But the other thing is there in India it is while stressing more on family, we lose our values, our own values, what we want to do. Instead of that, we just think what other people want from us, and we start to behave and act based on what others think. But here it was different. It was like what I want to do, what I should be doing, and that is what I will be doing. So I too want to follow this thing, but with my family values. So it is. I just want to take the best of both the things. So
Ukraine and Latvia have much in common. We have common culture, common roots, but since the Christianity was adopted, we were like more going on this religious path, and here very a lot of pagan traditions have been kept, and you have so many national these holidays that are really have pagan origin, I must say, and it's really cool. And you have all these rings, names, I guess they are called, and you have these national ornaments on shirts or even on different postcards, and that's why I think that you really feel the roots, and it's very cool, because I feel here that sometimes when I am at different folk festivals or folk holidays, it's like I'm somewhere in the 5th century and everybody is like having this pagan in a good sense of the word, traditions, and it's very interesting because we don't have. If you want to see something like really folk, it will be like 18th, 19th century, not earlier, and here it's like the origins. It's very good.
The first difference I noticed between living in Liepaja and the Netherlands is the heavy kitchen. And what I mean by heavy is the vast choice of pastry, a lot of butter, a lot of pork. I'm not saying it's bad, but that's the first thing I noticed.
Tas bija pirmo, ko es saju.
Latvian food is very different from Chinese. We cook by ourselves and eat a little Latvian food. I like Chinese food better.
What I've noticed about cultural differences is that Latvians celebrate maybe more than Austrians. For example, you celebrate also the name day, and I've never heard about that before. In Austria, if you're not really religious, then you celebrate Christmas and birthday, and that's it. And here you have a lot of different days. For example, you were celebrating the Women's Day, and the women got flowers, and I never really got flowers before, maybe from my parents. That's also a thing Latvians like to give.
I like here is many svetki, you can call like festival, and soon will be in 22, I think in June, is Yanis, and Yanis is so famous festival, and here the many guys' name is also Yanis.
I like the celebration of Yani a lot. My husband is Latvian, and I remember celebrating Yani in a very interesting manner. That's one of the first things I remember about this place. It's amazing how nice you can spend an evening by a bonfire, singing songs and playing games. I like the Ligua songs a lot.
After Yani's celebration is Summer Sound Festival on beach, and many people are coming from different cities in Liepaja because it's like a music festival, and I haven't been over there, but this time I wanted to go over there and I want to see how the people enjoy, because my wife told me it's so nice, but people are making so dirt over there on beach, and then it's not so good.
Some of the special places I think in Liepaja is the church, where we have the biggest organ instrument in the world, and it's one of the uniqueness. And the other thing is I also saw the Golden Church, which is there in Liepaja. It's not available in other parts of most of the parts of Europe, but it is one of the unique things which Liepaja has.
Karosta has a very important place in my heart. And I don't care, it served as a military base and it was a Russian territory. It's still part of the city and you can't ignore it.
The places to see in Liepaja are not very much, but still they are very unique. I cannot but mention Manege. This is the place where the Russian Tsar Alexander III built for different horse shows, and to boast with his wonderful horses and to show the might of Russian Empire, maybe, I don't know. And still there are the remains of it. It's of 19th century, I guess, but it is abandoned. It is half ruined, and I really feel sorry for it, because I think that it's the history of the nation, the history of the country, and it cannot be just like that. The government should pay more attention to the issues like that. And also I cannot but mention Karosta, this wonderful place. It has the scent of mystery here, because it's a little bit abandoned, full of garbage, but still you come here and just use your imagination. Come on, there have been different sea battles, fights here, and I can almost imagine the ships that were landing here. And the remains of the fortress are really impressive. And some of the parts of the fortress are put under such an angle that if you get inside, it's like in Matrix. It's like a real movie, Hollywood movie, and okay, it's impossible to describe what was. You should come to Liepaja and get into Matrix house, and then you will understand me for sure.
For me, what is special in Liepaja, what I haven't experienced before, is the light. The time the sun sets and starts. In Austria, it's completely different, and it's becoming really strange for me to experience that the nights are so short that sometimes you don't even know, did the sun actually just set or is it rising again? So the light is something I've never experienced before.
In Liepaja, the seasons are changing so fast. You can see every 2 months is totally different. One is so hot, one is cold. In winter, I like it because they decorated whole city so nicely, some lighting in the city center. And in winter time, you can see over there one breeze, and when the frost came, all the water is like frozen, and many fishermen, they are hauling on that water and catching the fish. Even they can stay all night in 20 or 30 degree temperature in minus. It's so amazing.
I just go out with my friends and share some time with them, go out to places in Liepaja and go to the lake and just have some good time, and also go to some cultural activities whenever we have the cultural activities, and sometimes to the theater. Or so it's a calm life, so I just enjoy it calmly. So.
My free time is not that different from Austria, because here I have the same opportunities than in my home country. I go with the bicycle, I take pictures of my surrounding, of the great architecture. I meet friends, I go to the beach, that's the thing that I can't do. So I feel like it's even more diverse than back in Austria, because I also really take the chances I have and appreciate everything even more because it's different and new. And yes, I like to take pictures, especially when I'm traveling, but it's more like a hobby, and it's more like giving a very realistic profile of the city. I try not to edit so much, and they maybe don't really seem artistic. And I like to show them to my friends and family, just for them to see how everything looks here. And I like to enhance the beauty of the city.
Nothing special, such as walking on the seaside and going to Riga or traveling. Sometimes I spend my free time with my friends. I have 2 of my friends here in Liepaja and several others in Riga.
On my free time, I'm doing at home some work and caring babies. And when I'm getting really free time, then I like running. So I'm doing running as a hobby. If the weather is good, then I prefer beach for running, because it's fresh air and you can cool yourself with water. And the other side, near to beach, over there is a seaside way. You can run over there, it's so good. Both sides is tree and cyclists. You can see many people are running, even they are so old. I saw many ladies, they are till 80, but they like morning walk. When I have free day, then I prefer running in the evening, because I like when the sun going for setting on the water. You can see all water is like red.
I'm lucky to have lots of free time. Actually, I'm studying to draw right now. I'm not a good artist at all. I'm not a painter, but I'm trying and I like the process. I think this is the main part. I also go to dancing classes. That's what I do at home and that's what I do here. Actually, when I was going here, I was ready that I won't dance for half of the year. I cut my hair, I realized that I won't dance anyway, why should I? And when I came here, I started again to dance. It's like a disease. Maybe you can't get rid of it so quickly. And I like the beach with Amber, it's the best spot. I go to the beach every day, even when it's raining, when it's hurricane, when it's tornado, I don't care, I like beach. Because in Kiev, I have to go like for 1 hour with tube. And then it's like you come to the beach and there is no amber, there are only like, it's full of crying children and that's all. And here the beach is almost empty all the time. It's very, very beautiful. It's full of amber, you can collect it and the sea and the sky, it's worth seeing. It can't be described with words. You should come and see these sunsets, these sunrises. It's something that you don't have. I don't think you have in any part of the world. That's why it's very, very, I think, unique.
I often check the posters for cultural events like theatre plays, concerts and exhibitions. Every art vibrates differently. What I'm looking for as a musician is not the mastery of player or the chord progressions. I like the concept, the idea. That's why I love the theatre. There are several instruments the artists can use there, like speech, stage design, lighting.
Major difficulty I face in Latvia is I don't get most of the fruits and vegetables which is available in my country. Here it is cold and most of the vegetables and fruits are only imported, so it's kind of rare to find the common things which are available in my country. So it is one of the major things for people who are like mostly vegetarians and vegans. So for them it's it's very difficult to find some regular or common fruit or vegetable. So
if you comparison in economically, Denmark was better salary than Liepaja in Latvia, but money doesn't matter in front of love. So I choose love and I permanently moved in Liepaja. Here I need to do my insurance myself because the Latvian medical is, they are not providing, this is no facility for me because I am a foreigner. So I need to do myself self-insurance, because one time I fell sick in the night time and then I went to hospital. I stayed over there 2 days, but in the end they gave me a bill. It was almost 125 lakh and I paid it.
When I came here, it was everyone were speaking in Latvian, and the other thing was Russian. Entirely, I don't know both the languages, so it was a bit difficult to communicate. But then there were people to help me out all the time, so I found it somewhat. I was able to adjust to the circumstances.
I didn't have any difficulties for the most part, because I find it easy to communicate with people. The language was the main barrier for me. I find Latvian to be very complicated, and it was very difficult for me to learn it. Back when I was studying in the university in 2002, I knew some Latvian already, but it wasn't good enough for such level of academia. I remember coming home after the first lectures and saying, I will never be able to do this. But I knew there was no way back. Just like when I was 20, and I knew they wouldn't accept me back at home. If a native Latvian speaker could read something once, I had to read at least twice to comprehend it. There were classes I memorized entirely.
When I came to Latvia, at once I started to take Latvian lessons. It was on my curricula of the project, and at the same time it was my desire, because I am willing to learn language of the country where I reside. I think it's logical. And also in my free time I try to learn more Latvian words, to read books in Latvian, sometimes even. I started to read The Little Prince in Latvian. I think that it's not very complicated because it's a fairy tale and I have read it in Ukrainian, that's why I know the context of the book. And every time I open the book, I start using Google Translator because though it's a fairy tale, I can't understand almost a word. But I have already read 14 pages, I must say, and still I have a lot of work ahead, but I think it's good. It enriches my knowledge also. I know a lot of new words from this book. It's good. The language, I don't think that it's very, very complicated, but still it has a complicated grammar. That's why I never speak Latvian correctly, but Latvians are very warm people. They only smile at me, and I know that they understand me, but sometimes they are too polite to correct me. They just give me what I want and what I ask, and they never like laugh at me or say, come on. Again, these people with accent.
Nu, ko es varu ieteikt cilvēkiem, kuri šeit grib dzīvot un iedzīvoties, palikt?
My advice to people who want to live here: first of all, respect the people and the nation you are living in. Accept their traditions. And study the language, of course. If you respect the people, you study their language. And the language is difficult, yes, but I did learn it. I remember buying a guide to Latvian in the local bookshop because I understood the importance of speaking the native language. People like to hear foreigners speaking their language. Nationality is not important. You have to be a nice person first of all. It is beautiful here. Living is interesting. We have a very rich and wholesome cultural life in Liepaja. There are things to see, places to relax in. Just respect the place you live in.
I give first preference to my career because this is the time I would like to stress more upon my career. So whichever place gives that opportunity, there I will go. So I have not decided only this place, that place, but then whichever place I get the opportunity to enhance my career goals, and so I will probably go there. So.
When I go back to Austria, I won't live in my hometown anymore, which is Linz. I will go to Vienna. I will start to go to university. I will have a flat shared with some friends. So when I come back, I won't be that depressed that I'm not in Liepaja anymore, because there will be a new area of my life. And so yeah, basically university is my future plan. Other than that, I'm not planning anything, because you never know how it's gonna come. I think I won't handle to not visit Liepaja within the next year. So the latest that I want to see Liepaja is maximum a year, namely really.
I want to open my business. Maybe it's Indian restaurant in Liepaja, because here is no Indian restaurant at all in Liepaja. I think in Riga here, but that is different because the owner is not Indian. Everybody can open it, but who knows it by taste and by things, the taste will be different. I hope so. And in Liepaja people, all in Latvia people are mostly eating meat, and I would like to open vegetarian. I hope so. When I will become old, then maybe I will move India. But still I'm young, then I will prefer to live here because I like cold weather and I don't like so hot.
I had the idea about leaving, but I just can't. I have friends here. My whole life's here. I once thought about leaving, but then I realized I wouldn't have anything to do without my friends and acquaintances. But I don't know. You can never really tell where you will end up tomorrow. You just don't know. We'll go wherever God will guide us.
When I think about my future, it's a little bit misty because I have plans in different spheres of my life, and I'm not sure if they don't change. When it comes to my education, I think I should keep on studying because I really want to have a master's in cultural studies or in creative writing. I have a master's in law, but actually legal profession is not what I have always dreamt about. That's why I think I should try to change a little bit my specialization and try to get one more master's degree.
I don't see the future here. It's hard to say. I will go back to China. I have been here for almost 3 years, so if nothing changes, I will go back to China soon. I don't think a lot about staying here in Liepaja or not. Why should I? I'm not a refugee. I'm doing my job and not just in the orchestra. I am also composing my own music, playing trumpet in different international projects. For the state I'm currently in, it's not essential that I live in Utrecht, Amsterdam, Riga or Kiev. It doesn't matter. I'll think about it when it becomes important. But it isn't now. What if Liepaja was a punctuation mark? Which one would it be? Perhaps just a comma, a place to reside for a while. Or a full stop, the beginning and end of it all. Or perhaps Liepaja is a question mark, occasionally misunderstood, solitary and strict. Maybe it's an exclamation mark that emits energy and creativity. As banal as it may sound, we want to associate Liepaja with the 3 dots that people call an ellipsis. And not because we have nothing to say, but because an ellipsis allows you to breathe in and think for a moment. It is also profound and emotional. It is naive, yet hazy and mysterious. The very same could be said about Liepaja's inhabitants, who are youthful, active, yet strive for peace and harmony. Liepaja is a place for beautiful, decent, diligent and responsive people who are not afraid of using any punctuation mark when talking about their goals.